Right. All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy October 31st. It's a Halloween today. And it's also the last day of the cyber security month. And we thought this is a timely to have this session. Again, information security awareness trainings that we do for our clients is really an annual thing. And one of those things that you feel like you need to be reminded is all common sense, but we need reminder. Same thing, you know what? We know the speed limit is 50 and perhaps you go faster and or we shouldn't use our phone when we're driving, but we do. And when you get stopped over and you tell yourself, I will never use my phone, I never go over 50. And that takes a few weeks that you forget that you got to stop and you got a ticket and we go back to those habits. And this is one of those things. So that said, our agenda for today, just a quick introduction. We're going to talk about the threat landscape, security tips, next step, resources, and a question at the end. And of course, at any point, if you have any question, please feel free to ask me. For those who do not know me, my name is John Zare. I'm a CEO at the Point Alliance. Point Alliance is a Microsoft solution partner with a modern work and security designation, which we are very proud of it. Our team is 100% Microsoft certified, and you can find more additional information about our company at pointalliance.com/company profile. So security is critical for your business. And I have to extend that because it's not really a 9 to 5 things. I think that security is a 24/7 thing. You know, you're at much risk or more on your personal side at work, because at work there are processes in place and technology in place to do that, and you might not have the same protection at home. So it is very important. And again, in order to have an effective cybersecurity program, there is a combination of people, processes, and technologies. So in most organization, hopefully they have the right technology. Again, we are a Microsoft solution provider, and you do have that Microsoft technology. Processes is that you making sure that you have take the precautions, and also the people is very important, and that's why we do these trainings for organizations. So every year, number of attacks increases, and they're becoming more and more smarter, and they get they find new ways to do it. So 300% increase in a ransomware attack, 23% of organization experience a security breach, and the average cost is about $100,000 US to the companies when this thing happen. Because that, again, this is very important that we're going to be proactive and not reactive. The threat landscape, again, is a digital, in person, and a phone. And phone has its own category because, I don't think we're really taking our mobile phone security as serious as much as we take the desktops. Most organizations have a rigid protection on the on the desktops endpoints, but come to mobile devices, there's no security. They're just people using it as it is. So the digital threat landscape, again, I did not come up with these names, but I'm gonna go through it. So email phishing, that we all seen this thing when the scammer create an email that impersonate legitimate companies attempt to steal your information. They do that all the time. Like that's a normal daily life, and through the scanning of those, we try to stop as many as possible, but they get creative. Spear phishing is similar to email phishing, but messages are more personalized. For example, they appear to come from your boss, and this happens a lot. Like if you work in like a central area, like in downtown area, you would go to the drugstore and you're trying to buy a gift card. They would ask you, "Did somebody ask you to buy this gift card?" So that's easy to fall for, right? They're organized. They check to who is a newer employee, and they target those people because they're new. They're not going to question the boss to say, "Okay, are you sure you really want me to buy this gift card?" And many people fall for it more than you think. Clone phishing is when a scammer replicate the email you have received, but include dangerous attachment or links. So that's also have to be careful, that if you are receiving an email with the attachment, even from the person that you know, but you were not expecting it, Don't just open it. Reach out to the person, make sure that they meant to send it to you. Whaling is when the scammers target high-ranking executive to gain access to money or sensitive data. One thing we have noticed in lots of organizations, the executive device security is more lax because they don't want to deal with a two-factor, they don't want to do the PIN, they don't want to do that, and you cannot really argue with executives. So they're becoming a high target audience. And pop-up phishing, when fraudulent app pop-up tricks user into the installing malware. And that's an old-fashioned the support trick. We're going to go into that extensively at the end as well. In-person threat landscape, again, USB attacks and tailgating. And if you're working for an organization that you have an office and perhaps people, there's a lot of traffic in and out, and you might not know everyone. So it's very important to kind of be careful about that. So one thing is USB attacks. Again, some of this sounds might like a movie and stuff. Well, nobody does that, but it does happen more than you think. So the USB attack is that they leave a USB key, which is infected USB in somewhere that is by the way that to your office perhaps. You're gonna see it, oh, you see a USB, and you're trying to find who is the owner of it, and you might plug it to the device. And that's very dangerous. So you have to kind of resist that. And if you do that, you need to kind of try it with a device that's totally disconnected from network, or it has nothing to be compromised on it, right? So that's very important to kind of really resist that. The tailgating is that, as I said, you work with an organization or an office that has a high traffic. You might not know everyone. They might just kind of, dress very professionally as you're trying to enter. They're right behind you. We are, most of us, very polite and might even hold the door for open. Just make sure you question. If you're not sure who the person is, ask them if they work there and so on. Or sometimes you see people, people outside perhaps socializing and smoking, and somebody join them for a few times. They kind of say, oh, you kind of get to know the person. You think they work there, and they're trying to kind of compromise your office location, and they come in, and again, they could be as easy as they come in and they just plug in into a network and cause lots of trouble. The phone threat landscape, again, phishing as smishing. Again, I don't know who came up with this name, but the phishing is an attempt to, via phone calls, bank needing your SIN, credit card, and or bank account number, and we see that a lot. And one of the reasons that they're increasing, especially on messages, because probably you registered somewhere and your phone number was compromised, right? And again, there are organizations you hear on the daily or weekly that they say, okay, our information was compromised. Could be from library, from the shopping, online shopping, or any of those things. So you need to kind of be do your due diligence and make sure you're on top of that. Smishing is attempt via SMS messenger using infected links. So they could be kind of send you a link, and I see that a lot as well. That the U.S. UPS parcel delivery is delayed. Just do this, or you have an unpaid bill or parking tickets or those things. So they're really getting you attempt to kind of click on those links, and the links looks like a legit, but if you really pay attention to the links, the address is not what they're supposed to be. And when you click on some of those things, which we do test those all the time, the destination is done so well. So when you go to it, it looks like a legit website and has everything that the main would have, except if you put in your credit card information, if you put any personal information, definitely it's compromised because it's not the legit website. So it's very important to pay attention to those things. All right, thank you. Just a short video on the phishing. So again, the 10 common threats of phishing, and again, all common sense, but we just have to remind ourselves. So number one, asking for personal information. Again, most reliable organization will never email you asking for your address, phone number, or other personal data. Inconsistent links. If you mouse over the links in the page, you will see from the sender email address to the links on the page. And so just making sure you don't click. Unrealistic threat, like an overdue or account has been compromised. Again, those things doesn't happen if it's happening from your utility company, gas or hydro. You will receive a letter probably at home. They will not email you and they say your gas going to get cut off today or tomorrow. Generic greeting, and we see that all the time. Dear employee, dear ma'am, dear sir, those things. Sense of urgency again, that asking you to click on a link or download the attachment. Just be careful. If you're not, as the video said, if you're not expecting an email with the attachment from that person, don't open it. The other thing that we see happen, that accounts get compromised, and the person that compromised that account send an email with the faulty attachment into all their contacts. So the email coming from the right person, but the recipient doesn't know that those are faulty attachment. I click on it because I said, well, that person sent it, must be right. So again, if you're not expecting an attachment, don't open it. That's very important. You are asked to send the money, that should never happen in the email. Will not be. Most organizations have a portal. If there's a notification asking you to go to a website and do that, they won't even have a link on that page because they know how they know how to find it. Too good to be true. That's again, that's very important to keep in mind. If you're seeing something, somebody's offering you money for that's just, again, if it's too good to be true, it is likely untrue. Poor spelling and grammar, that's the very thing. And the reason there's a spelling and grammar, because not that they cannot type, because for certain phrases get picked up with the spam control. So they're trying to spell it different way to get through the spamming, but it's also a hint for you to realize that's not the right email. Suspicious attachment, you can see that's a theme, attachment. If you're not expecting it, don't open it. That's a source of many issues. Or from government agency. Again, CRA or RIS, they never put anything confidential because that's going to compromise that they don't know who's going to open that email. So you will get a letter probably in the mail, or if it's an email, it's just going to tell you, go to the portal and check the inbox in the portal for the information. So I'm going to show you example of this because again, this is not made up, by the way. This really landed in my mailbox last year, and it is just a fantastic example. That hi John, sorry, status of overdue refund. I didn't know it was a refund could be overdue. By the way, it's pending. So that's amazing. So it is from the gas company, and again, if there are money they owe you, they credit your accounts. So total refund balance is that. So they put something attractive and refund overdue. And you can see the message came in on the November 15 and the overdue was November 18. So they give me 3 days. So on the short times, they force you to make a decision and make a bad decision. Next thing, if you look at it, if you mouse over, the email address is not even from that company. That never be a Hotmail account coming from the utility company or whatever it is, would be their email address. As we dig in more through it, you can see those phrases as quickly as possible, even if it's a refund, an overdue. Like, again, just unrealistic threats. And the last thing, if you mouse over the link, you see it's going to the whole different place. It's not even related to again, we know the sender was from Hotmail, but inconsistent links. We did research this link, and when you went to the site, if you put the real site and this site together, they were very close. They've done a great job. So they put in lots of effort into this to make sure they trick you into getting your information. So again, if you're using Outlook client, it's very easy. You have a button on your Outlook client report message that you can report it as junk, phishing, or not junk. And again, if you don't see the button, you can ask your administrator to add that. That comes in the Microsoft 365. So if you find something suspicious or is a junk, just mark it as junk. So remove it from your inbox and also get reported so you don't get the email from that person again. If it's phishing, mark it as a phishing. And also, you should frequently visit your junk mail folder because it could be emails and landed there that was not really junk and it was a false positive. So what you can do, you just select that message and mark it not junk, and that will remove it from junk mail folder and move it to your inbox. Next thing is securing a sign-in process, right? Create a strong password, keep your password secure. So that's very important that we need to look at it. So when creating a password, again, there's lots of ways to do this thing, and one of the things is that the password you create, realistically, something you need to be remembering. If you cannot remember your password, what are you going to do to it? You're going to write it somewhere. So that's already going to be compromised. We had a situation that the password was all stored in Excel spreadsheet, and that Excel got compromised. So it wasn't even just one password, everything was gone. So it's very important you're going to do that. So at least 12 characters long, but 14 more is better. A combination of uppercase letters, lowercase, numbers, and symbol. Not the word can be found in the dictionary of name of the person, character, product, or organization. Significantly different from your previous passwords. Easy for you to remember, but difficult for other people to guess. And we're going to go through some example here, right? So this is the a password checker that we have in this case is 11 characters. And there is no way I could remember those things. But that said, even with that, with the 11 characters, you can see the password can be cracked faster than the time to take back from the short walk. So again, easy to be compromised. So let's just add one more character. We said 12 or more. So that's very important to add in 12 characters. You can see by adding a 1 to the end, we went from being cracked easily to the 2 centuries. And even add one more a special character to it, become impossible. So again, that's you want to do that. So when you create a password, you want to check that password to say how good it is. But I cannot remember that one. Let's just go with something I can remember. Let's just say, go with my dog is Bobby, right? Again, easy to be cracked, those things. And again, by the way, just make sure if you come up with something, just make something fictional. And I do not have a dog called Bobby, by the way, but that's not hard to crack. So let's just say my dog is Bobby from Toronto. You can see what's happened here, but it's easy for me to remember, type that. I don't have to write it anywhere. My dog is Bobby from Toronto. Impossible to guess. And if I added, even want to get more extreme and add some numbers to it with a date and some special character, so 10,000 centuries. So it is important to check the quality of a password. So keeping passwords secure as important to kind of creating a secure password. So don't share your password with anyone, not even friends and family. I know we get somebody asks you and you kind of feel bad, but don't, because that's going to affect it. Never send a password via email, instant message, or other means. Sometimes we ask for credentials and it comes with a plain email, and it is just a scariest thought because you have multiple people on that email. Who knows who that's going to get circulate to or forward those things, and it's always there. So never do that. There are tools out there. I'm going to share any resources at the end that allow you to actually share passwords through the links that expires after the first click, and it's never going to be a record of it. So it is very important that you do it that way. Never reuse the same password. All your passwords should be unique. Why is that? Because if one of your passwords get compromised, again, one of the most shared password is for Netflix accounts, right? And we subscribe to one and we go to friends and family. If that accounts get compromised with that password, what they do, they run that through against other popular sites, and then if you're using the same password for multiple sites, now your other sites are also compromised. Always access website through using trusted links. Don't hesitate to change password immediately on accounts you suspect have been compromised. So that's very important to do that. The other thing that I also suggest, most organizations like Amazon, your banks, and those things, they all offer a two-factor authentication. That means in order for you to log in from the device that have not logged in before, either going to email you, send you a text message, or use the authenticator apps. That's very important to use that because that will increase the security by 90%. And it might be inconvenience, but it is very effective and will save you lots of headache. The next thing, tech support scam. Again, we kind of think, oh, that won't happen to anyone. I had a case that was reported last week to us, and we provided support for it. So in tech support scam, especially happen to your personal devices, trying to charge a fee to fix a non-existent problem, right? You're in a website, a pop-ups come up, maybe has even a reputable logo of Microsoft on it. It says there's an issue they have found, they need to fix it. And again, it looks like it's come from your operating system, but it's really from the website you visited, and that website has that trick built into it. So what do you need to remember that? So you got an unexpected call, or the pop-up comes up. You get an error message asking to call a number urgently, right? Like we all try to call support for the phone companies or other companies. How long have we been on a call before even somebody talked to us? Imagine somebody sitting there voluntarily calling us to help us without even us knowing. So that's, again, too good to be true. That never happened. Your support technician asking you to download the software from an email to third party. Basically, they say, okay, download this so I can provide you the support. That should be a warning right there. Tech support asks you for password or other private sensitive data. Again, if we're providing support for our clients, we never ask for the password. If you're proper support, you will have your credentials you need, and you don't need to do that or install any software. But let's just say this does happen, right? Again, at the time, we are in the middle of the rush and we are vulnerable, and we fall for it, and that happened. So you want to uninstall any application scammers that ask you to install. Run a full scan with the Windows security to remove any malware. If you have given a scammers access to your computer, reset your device. I know it seems a bit harsh, but to be honest, that's your safest way to go. Because even if you clean the device and uninstall the software, who knows what else done once they had the control. Change your password, definitely. If you have already paid, call your credit card provider as soon as possible and report the scam. Depends on your location. You can report it to authority, to the software companies. There are many ways to report this. Working more securely while traveling. Again, we are traveling more, we are more remote now, and it's very important we take the extra precaution we do that, and security to consider. So pick a space that's private, right? We go to the coffee shops and we go to the public places. We see people that have this fancy headphone. They cannot hear us, but we can hear everything they talk. You can be standing behind them. They won't even know you're there and look at your screen. So make sure the place you are is private, so nobody's shoulder surfing. If you have a conference call or video meeting, be aware of whether other people might be able to eardrop, right? Because again, we have the headphones, but they can hear you talking, and that make sure what you're sharing there. Don't allow others to use your work devices. Again, when we're working remotely or we're working from home, we might have a roommate, other people. Just take an extra caution. If you're leaving your desk at work, going away, or at home, always use a Windows L. Just lock the device. Doesn't matter where you are. Just make it a habit. It's like wearing a seatbelt. You're leaving your desk, Windows L, lock the device. Only use encrypted Wi-Fi for business. You can't wait to go to a location and not ask the person there, what is your Wi-Fi, right? Especially if you're traveling. We take it, we don't ask question, we just want to say it's a free Wi-Fi. So be very careful what's happened. Again, this must be sounds like a fictional, but it's happened all the time, because you might be going on a Wi-Fi and you're visiting the sites and they are scrapping those information. So be very careful. If using a VPN or tether through your phone, most phones now have a large bandwidth that you can use. So don't use those public Wi-Fi if it's not trusted right away. Avoid using free charging station in airport, hotel, and shopping centers. Again, that's another thing. We plug in your phone to anything, we don't even know what's the other side of it. If you plug your phone to your computer, what does it pop up, right? It pops up to say you want to trust this thing from your device. That means if you plug it somewhere and you don't know what the other side of that charging is, your data could be compromised and they grab everything from your phone. And that has happened. By the way, the bad actors have figured out ways to public USB ports to introduce malware and monitoring. This is from actually from FBI Twitter. I just copy and paste that one. So carry your own charger. Or the other thing you can do, there are special USBs that has a dead pin on it, and that pin is the pin that will transmit data. So you still allow you to charge it, but won't allow any data because you don't need the data when you're charging, right? Or so that's very important. You want to do those things. The other one that also I don't have here that I need to add is the new scam is just QR code, right? We're traveling everywhere we go, right? For the menu, uh, parking, all those things, asking us to scan the QR code. So what they do, they find a way that kind of override that QR code. So in the parking, what they do, they put an extra label on it, and you're thinking you're paying for parking, but you're really giving your credit card to the person that you don't know. So if you scan your QR code and go into the place to make sure check the URL on our phone, there's a smaller form factor. We don't pay attention. So that's very important when you're traveling. So next step in empowering everyone to be a cybersecurity champion. Protect your identities, devices, and data. Safeguard yourself from the phishing and other scam. Manage your password efficiently, and keep your software up to date. And also talk about this to all your friends and family, right? So because the more they know, the more protected they are, and it's better for everyone. There are a few resources I want to share. Again, we will be posting this PowerPoint on our website as well, and my colleague Philip will also reach out with to send you a link and a follow up with for this today's session. Again, these are resources we use. You're more than welcome to use other ones that are similar. So one-time is a one-time self-destructing link. So you can put is a text thing you can put there. You share a link. The first time the person click on it, it's disappear. The link won't be valid anymore. Norton Password Generator, that's a great software to create you complex passwords in case it's hard for you to guess. Password check is very important. When you think your password is good, run it against one of those password checker to make sure it is good and it's not been compromised before. Have I been pwned? This is very important. So this website, what it does is capture all the sites that have been compromised and so on, and put a report of it. So all you have to do is just go to the site, put your email address, again, just an email address, you're not putting anything. It will tell you if your email has been found in the dark web and if you've been compromised. Also, you can subscribe to them. So what the subscription does, you just put their email address there. If they find it, they email that email address to let you know has been recent compromise, that your email was there and what was compromised. And that's very important. If, for example, in many cases, my email and password get compromised because I use two-factor authentication, really doesn't bother me because it's fine, I'm protected. But if other information get compromised, like your home address or social insurance number, those things, you need to take the extra step there. So it's very important to check the sites that had your data and they have been compromised and what was compromised, because the password is easy to change. If you compromised your social insurance number was compromised, that's a whole different process, and you need to take that very seriously because they can go on your behalf, get loans or mortgages. You'd be surprised what can be done, and it's going to fall on you. And by the time you clear your name, it's going to be a long, long process. That said, I want to thank you all for attending today's session. Again, we do these trainings for organization that we had a pleasure serving. We'd be happy to do one for your company if you find today's session beneficial. I want to thank you again. I don't see any questions there, but if you have any question, again, we will share this information. Feel free to reach out to us, and we'd be happy to discuss security with you in detail. There's many things can be done, And also the other things happening. This is the ongoing things. It's not going to end. We constantly need to make sure that we do our due diligence, and with the new things, we need to implement the new systems and configuration. I wouldn't say go a month where we need to kind of add one more item to list of the things we need to watch for, because they're getting very creative as companies trying to keep up with the intruders. They just up the game and the new things happening. So that said, I want to thank you all for attending today's session. And we will be sharing the recording, of course, with you on our YouTube channel. And as I mentioned, my colleague Philip is going to reach out to you with the information.
Yeah, what